Hello and welcome to Grognard Solo Gaming. I am the Grognard and today we are playing Reclamation Slums of Phlan. So what is that? Well, that is another module by Carsten over at the Solo Spelunking channel. So it's an adventure that is meant to be played solo or cooperatively without a dungeon master, and it's meant for 5th edition. So I have gotten up to some shenanigans. I have made 4 characters, and since this module is for up to level 4, I have made not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 druids. And some of you will know where this is going to go, but if you don't, you'll have to watch to find out. So the druids are all level 1. And their names are Bjarki, Eidur, Jökull, and Svein. Very Icelandic names. And they all have the same stats, but they have different skills and different backgrounds. They are all of the shifter race, and they are of the long-tooth variety of shifter. Bjarki is the oldest. He is an outlander. Eidur is the second oldest. He is a soldier. Jökull is the third oldest, and he is a sage. And Svein is the youngest, and he's a sailor. And those are their backgrounds. Their stats were made with the point-buy system, so they all have a strength of 13, dex of 10, con of 10, intelligence of 15, wisdom of 16, and charisma of 12. Their AC is 13, HP is 8, speed is 30, initiative is 0, and the saving throws are intelligence and wisdom. And that's as much as I'm going to say about the characters before I start playing, and you'll just have to discover the rest of their stats as we go along. So the goal in this game is to clear the slums of monsters in Phlan, and to do that you have to defeat the encounters in 4 different lairs. And here is the map that I have made of the Slums of Phlan, and you can see where the different things are located. The characters start out in New Phlan. That is a fortified part of Phlan where the people are safe from the monsters. And while you are in New Phlan, you can take certain actions, and I'm going to list those right now. In New Phlan, you can buy weapons, gear, and other equipment. You can get a quest from the notice board in front of the council hall. You can sell valuable items that you have discovered in the slums. You can recruit new adventurers if someone has died. You can gamble, you can arm wrestle, you can perform in the streets, you can pick pockets, you can enter a ranged weapon competition, or you can take part in a drinking contest, and finally you can leave New Phlan and enter the slums. And the slums are what's represented by the hex map, and that's where you move around and you find combat encounters and other types of encounters. So to get started, I'm going to go to the quest board and I'm going to find 3 quests. There are 8 different quests that you simply randomize which ones you find, and you can have the same quest once or twice or even 3 times. You just have to assume that you're working for different people doing the same type of mission. So I'm going to roll 3d8 and see what I get. And I rolled a 6, a 7, and an 8. And that means I get book collection incomplete. To complete my academic work, I need a certain book that I had to leave behind when the monsters invaded Phlan. To the party of adventurers that can bring me this tome, I will pay 200 gold pieces. To complete this quest, you need to retrieve at least 1 book from the bookshelf encounter number 12 from the Slum Street encounter table. The next quest is Monster Hunt. Hail adventurers, only a dead monster is a good monster. Any party of adventurers that brings me the heads of kobolds, goblins, orcs, bandits, or cultists will be rewarded. Bring me a total of 10 heads in any combination, and I will reward you with 500 gold pieces. Let's mount these heads on spikes along the slum wall as a warning to all those foul creatures within. Kill a total of 10 monsters of the listed kind in any combination. And finally, the third quest, eradicate goblin pests. Hail adventurers, those goblin pests breed like rabbits in the slums. If there is any chance to reclaim this part of town, we need to control their numbers. To any party of adventurers that bring me 6 goblin heads, I will pay the sum of 120 gold pieces. So I have a bit of a problem already. The first quest, I wasn't actually supposed to roll up a hex for that one because you find it through a special encounter. Then for the second one, I rolled up hex A3, but I realized that there is no way I am going to kill 10 monsters at the same time. And the third quest, I rolled up hex G2. However, as a party of 4 level 1 characters, 6 goblins, for those who do not know, I can tell you that is a much harder challenge than you think it would be, because goblins sound like this type of things that you can just mass kill, but in fact you cannot. So that said, I am going to simply walk around in the slums until I find an encounter so that I can return to New Phlan and get new quests. I don't know if there are easier quests, but as a level 1 party, I definitely need simpler quests. Maybe because I rolled a 6, a 7, and an 8, I got the harder quests. I don't know. Hopefully we will find out. But let's enter the slums of Old Phlan. So there is a 1 in 6 chance of an encounter as you move into a new hex. So I am going to go straight into A2 and see if anything happens. I rolled a 4, so no encounter. And then I'm going to go into B3. That is a building, and that means I have a guaranteed encounter. So let's find out what that is. So I'm going to roll a d6 on the level 1 encounter table for buildings, and let's see what happens. A 5. 2 orcs have claimed this building for their tribe. They immediately attack. Oh no! So the way initiative works in this game is that the players have a static initiative of 12 plus their dex bonus, and then the enemies roll a d20 and add their dex bonus. So my druids have a dex bonus of 0, and the orcs have a dex bonus of +1. So let's see how the initiative goes. They go first with a 17 +1. So I'm going to keep combat very simple. I'm going to assume that every combatant can reach every other combatant with 1 move and then make melee attack. So, preparing to get one-shotted. The orcs swing their great axes with a +5 to hit against my AC of 13, meaning they need to roll an 8 or higher to hit. And oh, that's quite lucky. That's 1 hit and 1 critical failure. Alright. So now I will roll up a random target and the damage. And I'm rolling a d4 for the druids, and starting with the oldest, Bjarki, and finishing with Svein, the youngest. And let's see how this goes. Oh, that was quite lucky again. Jökull is the unlucky druid, but he is only hit for 6 points of damage. I rolled a 3, and the orcs have a damage bonus of +3 for a total of 6. So it is the druids' turn, and they are all going to cast Shillelagh on their staffs so that they can attack using their wisdom modifier, and then they are going to hit the orcs. And they are all attacking the same orc starting out, and I have assigned each druid a color, and that color corresponds to the dice I'm rolling, so I know who is going to be doing what. So here goes. The orcs have an AC of 13. I have a to-hit bonus of +5, meaning the druids all need to roll a 8 or higher. And here we go. That is a 7, 15, 15, and 16. So that would be 1 miss and 3 hits. Each druid inflicts a d8 +3, and the orcs have 15 hit points each. So let's see if they can take down an orc. Eidur, inflicting 9 points of damage, not bad. Followed by Jökull, inflicting 10 points of damage. That means the first orc is down. And then Svein, hitting the last orc for 7 points of damage. Back to the orc. He is going to attack Jökull again because he is already hurt quite badly. But Jökull is going to take the dodge action, giving the orc disadvantage. So let's see how that goes. That is unfortunately a 19 and a 14, which means he still hits. Luckily, that was only another 6 points of damage, or Jökull could actually have been killed outright if the damage had been too high. But he falls down unconscious and he starts to roll death saves. All the other druids attack the orc, and 17, 15, 11, they all hit. And that in fact means that the orc has been taken out, because there is no way he can survive that much damage, even if it's the minimum. And the orcs are worth 200 XP. And normally it takes one character 300 XP to reach level 2, so I'm going to multiply that by 4, so the whole party combined needs 1200 XP to level up, and they now have their first 200, which I think is a fine start. And Bjarki is going to cast Cure Wounds on Jökull, and that heals him 1d8 +3 hit points for a total of 7, which means he has now suffered only 1 point of damage. And in case you're wondering, I have little colored tokens to keep track of the spells. Since that only cost me 1 level 1 spell, I am going to go outside into Hex A2, and let's see if I find an encounter there. I rolled a 4, so no, I did not. And then I am going to just go back into the building in Hex B3, because they in fact replenish. The encounters are renewed once you have stepped outside. So rolling a d6 for a level 1 building encounter, I rolled a 1. As you walk through a narrow doorway into the building, you hear the loud squeaking of a pack of filthy, hungry, and frenzied giant rats. 6 of the vile creatures rush out of their hiding place and attack. Alright, rolling initiative for the rats. And they have a +2 bonus versus my base of 12. That's a 9, +2, that's 11. The party goes first. They have an AC of 12. I have a +5 to hit, meaning I need to roll 8 or higher. Let's go. And again, everyone uses their shillelagh. I may not always remember to say that, but it's standard practice until they hit level 2. So here goes. That's a 5, that's a miss, unfortunately, but 16, 14, and no, 7, that also, no, that was a hit, yes. So 3 hits. The giant rats have 7 hit points each, and the druids are inflicting 1d8 plus 3 points of damage each. So starting with Bjarki, and he rolls a 5 for 8 points of damage, killing one rat. Then moving on to Eidur, who rolls an 8 for 11 points of damage, killing a second rat. And finally Svein, because Jökull was the one who missed. Svein hits for 6 plus 3, 9, killing a third rat. That went as well as it could. Now it is the rat's turn, and they have a plus 4 to hit, meaning they need a 9 or higher, but then they have the pack tactics, meaning they have advantage if they attack the same target. So they are going to gang up on one poor druid, and they are picking Bjarki. So first rat, a 6 and a 10 for a hit. Second rat, 17 and a 5, that's a hit. And the third and final rat rolls a 6 and a 13, also hitting poor Bjarki. So the first bite only inflicts 2 points of damage. The second bite inflicts 6 points of damage, taking Bjarki out of the fight, putting him at 0 hit points. And I was going to rule that the third rat would then attack someone else, because I don't really think they are interested in killing people that have fallen down. They're fighting to sort of win the fight. But then again, I don't think the rat would have realized yet. So I'm going to say that the rat, in fact, does bite Bjarki, even though he's down, costing him a death save, and then it's back to the party again. Then it is the party's turn, and Svein is going to cast Healing Word with a bonus action, and he is going to heal Bjarki for 7 hit points. Wow, that was really good. So, druids attacking. Oh, wow, that is a highly unlikely roll. That would be 2 critical failures and 1 critical hit and 1 miss. So 2 1s and a 20 and a 3 all in one roll. So to keep things simple, I am not going to make a thing out of critical failures, because I just think it's going to be too much to keep track of. But critical hits are going to work as they usually do, meaning you double the damage dice, but not the damage bonus. So here goes, and it was Eidur who made the critical attack, and that would be 7 plus 1 plus 3, 11 points of damage, killing a fourth rat. So back to the giant rats. There are 2 of them left. They are both attacking Bjarki, and they are both benefiting from pack tactics. So rolling with advantage, first rat attack, an 8 and a 14, that hits, and second rat attack, 9 and 7, that is also a hit. So now Bjarki takes 2d4 plus 4 points of damage, meaning I have to roll 2 1s or he is going to fall down again. And now that's a 3 and a 1, so Bjarki is indeed down again. Back to the druids. Jökull is going to cast Healing Word on Bjarki for 5 hit points healed, meaning he has taken 3 points of damage, and Jökull has suffered 1 point of damage, and Eidur and Svein are not damaged at all. So here are the attacks from the druids, and that is a 5 is a miss, but 9 is a hit, 12 is a hit, and 13 is a hit. So then let's see how the first rat handles the damage. Ooh, 11 points of damage. That is an X rat. And then 2 more strikes for the final rat means it has no chance of survival. And the giant rats are worth 150 XP, putting the party at 350 XP out of 1200 needed. So far, my adventures in the slums has cost me 3 level 1 spells, and Bjarki has lost 3 hit points, and Jökull has lost 1 hit point, meaning I should be fine making 1 more trip out and back into this building. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's see if I have an encounter when I step outside. I rolled a 5, so no, I did not. And then I'm going back inside the building, and this time in the building there those would be giant rats again, but Carsten has said that whenever you roll the same encounter twice in a row, it is fine to re-roll. So I am actually going to re-roll. And rolled a 1 again, and then I rolled a 3, and a 3 is a band of 6 bandits using this building as their base of operation to raid the nearby alleys. 6 bandits. Well, 6 of anything is bad news, but let's see how this goes. So bandits have a dex bonus of +1, meaning their initiative lands on 4 +1, 5, meaning the party goes first. So Bjarki is going to run in, and he is going to cast Thunder Wave, and I am going to roll a d6 to see how many of the bandits he can hit with his Thunder Wave, and that's a 4. So the 4 bandits need to roll a Constitution saving throw, and if they make it, I am pretty sure they suffer no damage. But if they suffer damage, it's 2d8, and they have 11 hit points each. So let's see how this goes. A 3 is a failure, another 3 is another failure, a 5 is a third failure, and a 14 is a success. So indeed it is 2d8 of damage for the ones that failed and no damage for the one that succeeded. So let's see how much damage this ends up being. That is a 7 and an 8, meaning Bjarki has just outright killed half the bandits in one spell. That was pretty great. And that leaves the other 3 druids, and they are going to run in, and they're going to cast Shillelagh, and they are going to pummel the remaining 3 bandits. So let's see how that goes. The bandits have an AC of 12, meaning I need to roll an 8 or higher to hit them, and I rolled a 7, and that's a miss. But then I rolled an 11 and a 15, so that would be 2 hits. And let's see how that goes. First hit, that's a 4, that's 7 points of damage, and the second hit, that's an 8, so that would kill yet another bandit, meaning there are 4 bandits on the floor and 2 bandits left standing. In a more RPG type of game, they would probably roll some kind of a morale check at this point, but since we're playing more of a board gamey type of game, they are simply gonna do their best to gang up on Bjarki, who is the most injured of the druids, and the bandits attack with scimitars, and they have a +3 to hit, meaning they need to roll 10 or higher. So that is 16 and 18. Those are 2 hits, and the bandits inflict, let's see, a d6 plus 1. First attack 5, meaning that Bjarki actually goes down again, meaning the second bandit is actually going to attack someone else, and he is going to choose Svein, and so Svein suffers 4 points of damage. Back to the druids. Jökull is going to cast a healing word on Bjarki, healing him for 6 points of damage. And then they are all going to grab their staffs, and they are going to pummel the bandits once again. Oh my, 5 would be a miss, 7 would be a hit, actually 19 would also be a hit, and 20 would be a critical hit, and that would be by Eidur. So Svein's attack hits for 9 points of damage, which means that the attack by Bjarki is going to be probably fatal. Yes, 9 more points of damage, taking down a 5th bandit, leaving only 1 bandit standing, and he is about to get a critical strike to his head. 10 points of damage, leaving the last bandit with 1 remaining hit point. And because this is a board gamey type of game, he does not know what is good for him. He is going to attack Svein, who is the most damaged druid, and here goes. He rolls a 9, that is actually a hit. He inflicts a d6 plus 1, he inflicts 5 points of damage, bringing Svein down below 0 and knocking him out. Then the remaining druids hit him twice, putting him 6 feet under, and that was the end of the fight. Someone needs to revive Svein with a cure wounds for 8 points of healing, putting him back to maximum hit points again. So 6 bandits are worth 150 experience points, putting the party at 500 out of 1200. And at this point, I have used up, how many are those? 6 of my level 1 spells, meaning I want to have a long rest. So this time I am going to leave the building and head for New Phlan. And as I step out of the building into hex A2, I roll a 2, meaning I do not have an encounter, and then I reach A1, and I am going to treat A1 as a safe hex. I don't know if it says in the rules, but I feel like that would be the gates to New Phlan, and I don't think that there are monsters there attacking people, or the guards on the walls would probably shoot them with crossbows and bows and whatnot. So that means the party is back in New Phlan. I just realized that I have missed something, and that is that my druids, being long-tooth shifters, actually have an ability that allows them to attack using their bonus action, and I completely forgot about that because they sort of come online at level 2, so I was very focused on everything cool that's going to happen at level 2, and I forgot about that ability. But from now on I'm going to start using it. Also, I realized that, or I remembered that you in fact get gold for surviving encounters in buildings. So every time you successfully finish an encounter in a building, you get a D3 times 100 pieces of gold. And also every intelligent enemy that you kill gives you 2d6 pieces of gold. So I have successfully completed 3 encounters in buildings. So let's see how much gold that gives me. That's a 3, a 2, and a 1, meaning 600 pieces of gold. And then I have defeated 2 orcs and 6 bandits, which means I get 12d6 pieces of gold. And that's 7, 13, 14, 15, 20, and then I'm just going to double that to 40. So I rolled 6d6 and I doubled it instead of rolling 12d6. So I now have 640 gold pieces for the party, which means that they are easily going to be able to pay for their long rest at the inn, which costs 3 gold pieces per character, meaning a total of 12 for my party. And also every background comes with a small amount of gold pieces. So I'm just going to say that they each had 10 pieces of gold starting out, meaning that they have 680 minus 12, which is 668 pieces of gold after they have taken a long rest at the inn in New Phlan. So the thing I'm going to do now is that I'm going to go to the quest board in New Phlan, and I'm gonna check what quests are available. I have actually killed 8 monsters for the monster killing quest, because both bandits and orcs count towards that goal. But I have not found the book, and I have not killed a single goblin. So maybe I want to switch out those quests. We'll see what I find. Rolling 3d8 on the quest board. I rolled a 1, a 6, and an 8, which means 2 of those quests are quests that I already have. So quest number 1 reads, Hail adventurers! The Blackfist gang operating out of the slums have done me terribly wrong. Death is too good for these bastards. Nevertheless, I seek revenge. Bring me 6 cut-off right hands from these bastards, the ones with the black fist tattooed on them, and I shall reward you with a total of 120 gold pieces. Quest targets, bandits, and or thugs. Any will do. Well, that sounds pretty good. Quest 6 would be to collect the book again, and I am definitely gonna not pick up that quest and drop the previous book quest. I feel that statistically it's not really worth waiting for. And another 8 would be to eradicate goblins once more. So I am just gonna have to think about what is the most strategic combination of quests here. So I have decided that I'm going to go with the quest to kill 6 thugs or bandits, and then I'm keeping the 10 monsters where I have successfully killed 8 out of the 10 monsters, and then I am keeping the goblin quest. And if I could, I would have picked up another goblin quest, but since you are only allowed to have 3 quests at the same time, this is what I'm going to go with. So before we go back into the slums, I'm just going to read out the racial ability that I have been forgetting. And it is called Shifting. As a bonus action, you can assume a more bestial appearance. This transformation lasts for 1 minute, or until you die, or until you revert to your normal appearance as a bonus action. When you shift, you gain temporary hit points equal to 2 times your proficiency bonus. You can shift a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Whenever you shift, you gain an additional benefit based on one of the following options. Choose when you select this race, and I have chosen Longtooth. So Longtooth says when you shift, and as a bonus action on your other turns while shifted, you can use your elongated fangs to make an unarmed strike. If you hit with your fangs, you can deal piercing damage equal to 1d6 plus your strength modifier, instead of the bludgeoning damage normal for an unarmed strike. So, going back into the slums of Old Phlan. And stepping onto hex A1, I'm not going to roll for an encounter, but stepping onto hex A2, I am going to roll for an encounter, and I rolled a 3, meaning I have no encounter, and then I'm going to move on into the building in hex B3. Moving into the building in hex B3, I am going to roll a d6 for the encounter, and that's a 3. So that would be another band of 6 bandits who are using the building as their base of operations to raid the nearby alleys. And that is actually great for me because that is going to finish 2 of my quests. So that's great. So rolling for initiative, bandits with a +1, 19 plus 1, 20. They go first. That is never good. They have a +3 to hit with their scimitars, and that means they need to roll 10 or higher, so rolling 6 attacks at once. Here goes. And alright, well, that could have been worse. That's a critical miss. That's a 4, that's a miss, a 5 is a miss, a 10 is a hit, a 12 is a hit, and a 15 is a hit, for a total of 3 hits. And scimitars inflict 1d6 plus 1 when wielded by bandits. So let's see who they focus on. They focus on number 4, which is Svein. And then let's see how this goes for Svein. First attack. Oh no, 7 points of damage. That leaves him with 1 hit point. And then second attack for 4 points of damage, putting Svein on the floor, unconscious and bleeding out. And since the bandits are more interested in taking down their opponents, they are not gonna bother with killing people who are on the floor at this point. So that means the third and final attack hits another druid, and that druid is going to be Ader, and Ader suffers 6 points of damage. Oh no, that leaves Ader with only 2 hit points remaining. So then it is the druid's turn, and Bjarki is going to cast Healing Word with his bonus action on Svein, who is healed for 5 points of damage, leaving him with 3 points of damage. And then he cannot cast Shillelagh, which means he inflicts less damage. But the others can cast Shillelagh and they can attack. So, druids attacking. Let's see how that goes. The bandits have an AC of 12. All the druids except Bjarki have a +5. Bjarki has a +3. So Bjarki in fact misses his attack, while the others, well, that's actually one more miss. Let's see, who is that? Svein misses. He rolls a 6, gets up to 11. That's 1 less than what he needed. But that leaves Ader and Jökull hitting with a 15 and a 19. So here goes. Ader's damage, oh my god, that's 8 plus 3, that's 11. He one-shots the first bandit, and then Jökull attacks a second bandit, Oh, well, okay. The first one was maximum, the second one was minimum. So Jökull only inflicts 4 points of damage. So that means we have one bandit down and one bandit with 4 points of damage. So then the bandits get to go, and they are gonna start by attacking Eidur, who is the most damaged druid. And let's see, this looks pretty bad for the druids. Well, they need to roll a 10. Well, okay, it wasn't terrible. 3 hits, 13 hits, 15 hits, 11 hits, 7 misses, and another 7 misses. So Eidur takes 4 points of damage, putting him on the floor with 0 hit points. Then they are going to attack Svein, and the first one luckily only inflicts 4 points of damage, which leaves Svein standing with a single hit point, meaning the last attack puts him also on the floor, KO'd and bleeding out. And by now you might be feeling as if though you are watching and listening to a bad game of whack-a-mole, and that is 5th edition and healing word for you, especially when you have a party where all 4 members have the spell. So Bjarki and Jökull are going to both cast healing word, and I'm going to remove their tokens. And that means Eidur gets healed for 5 hit points, meaning he suffered 3 points of damage, and Svein is healed for a minimum 4, leaving him with 4 points of damage. And that means Bjarki still cannot cast Shillelagh, but the others have Shillelagh, and actually they are now going to use their shifter ability. So all the druids are going to attack, and they are trying to hit AC 12, so let's start with the attacks with their staffs. 17 hits, 19 hits, 9. Whose attack is that? That would be Svein's attack. That's a 14, that's a hit. And finally, Eidur misses with a 3. So 3 hits with the staffs. And then everyone but Bjarki gets a bite attack. And that would be a +3. So the druids need to roll a 9. That means Jökull misses, but Eidur and Svein both hit. So let's start with Bjarki's damage of a d6 +1 versus the bandit that has suffered 4 points of damage. That's a 3 + 1. For another 4, he has suffered 8 points of damage out of a total of 11. And then let's add another staff hit to that. In fact, that actually puts him down automatically. I don't have to roll that. Then a 3rd Shillelagh staff that hits a bandit. Oh, another 8, 11, and that actually one-shots the bandit. And then we have 2 bite attacks that inflict a d6 +1 each. So those will be aimed at the same bandit. And that bandit suffers 6 + 2, 8 points of damage, leaving him with 3 hit points left. So the bandits are going to gang up on Svein first of all, and they did not roll well. A 5 is definitely a miss, and a 7 is also a miss, but a 13 is a hit, meaning Svein suffers a d6 +1 points of damage for 4 total. Oh wait, he has shifted, meaning he now has an additional 4 hit points. So even though he has taken 8 points of damage, he is still standing with 4 more hit points. So that was pretty great, actually. And that means we are back to the druids, and at this point Bjarki is going to also cast Shillelagh, and then they are all going to pummel the last 3 remaining bandits. Let's see how that goes. So now everyone is attacking with a +5, meaning they need to roll a 7 or higher, and they actually all hit because there is 1 7, 2 13s, and a 16, so not too shabby by the druids. And then we are gonna see how that turns out damage-wise. And so first attacking the most wounded bandit, who has suffered 8 points of damage, and he takes another 7, putting him on the floor. Then the next bandit, 10 points of damage, leaving him with 1 hit point, meaning the next strike takes him out, leaving one final very brave bandit suffering 8 points of damage, leaving him with 3 hit points. However, the druids are not done. They are all standing, and they have all shifted except for Bjarki. So they are all going to bite this poor bandit, and that's 1 critical failure, but that just means it's a miss. And then a 14 and a 15, meaning 2 hits, meaning he is out, because that's 4 + 4 + 2, 10 points of damage, and he is out as well. So that would have finished another building encounter for me. So that's a D3 times 100 pieces of gold, 300 gold pieces, not bad, and leaving me with 968 pieces of gold. And actually those were 6 bandits, and since they are intelligent enemies, they each carry 2d6 pieces of gold, and I'm going to roll 66 and double that. So 6, 12, 14, 15 times 2, 30, putting me at 998 pieces of gold. Not bad. And finally, let's look at the encounter and find that the bandits are worth 150 XP, putting the party at 650 XP out of 1200 needed. So currently they are halfway, but at this point they have 2 quests to hand in when they get back to New Phlan. And even though I have not used up too many of my resources, I am very keen to hand in my quests and pick up new quests, so therefore I am going to go straight back to New Phlan. So I am going to move 1 hex and see if I have an encounter, and I rolled a 6, so no, I do not, and that puts me back at hex A1 and the gates to New Phlan, where I will not roll for an encounter, and I will step back into New Phlan. So now I have finished quest number 1, Hail Adventures, the Blackfist Gang needs to be killed, blah blah blah. And that is going to give me 120 pieces of, and also every quest gives 200 XP to the party, meaning when I hand in both quests I will get 400 XP, putting the party at 1050 XP out of the 1200 needed for everyone to reach level 2. And also the quest to slay 10 monsters will reward me with 500 pieces of gold, putting the party at a total of 1,618 pieces of gold, meaning there is going to be no trouble for them to afford a long rest. So I am taking a long rest, and then I am going back to the quest board. Now, technically, you have 4 actions in town every day, pretty sure, but I am not really keeping track of that because I'm just picking up quests and taking long rests. All right, so rolling 3d8s on the quest table. That's a 2 and a 6 and a 7, meaning we have repeat quests again, and 6 is the book that I don't like to look for. Right, so quest number 2 says, brave adventurers needed. I am currently working on a very delicate experiment and I need some special ingredients for a potion. To anyone who will bring me 3 doses of spider silk, I will pay 90 gold pieces. The spider silk of giant wolf spiders or giant spiders is needed. And then it says, within brackets, to harvest a dose of spider silk from a defeated spider, you have to succeed at a DC 10 Wisdom Survival or DC 10 Wisdom Animal Handling or DC 10 Intelligence Nature check. If you fail all checks at your quest hex location, generate a new quest hex location where you will find another quest encounter. So that is pretty good, actually. I want this quest. Then I rolled a 6, and that is the book, and I do not like the book, so I will not look for the book. And then I rolled a 7. Monster Hunt. Hail adventurers. Only a dead monster is a good monster. Yeah, we had this one before. Any party of adventurers that brings me the heads of kobolds, goblins, orcs, bandits, or cultists will be rewarded. Bring me a total of 10 heads in any combination, and I will reward you with 500 gold pieces. Yeah, that was the one I just handed in. Yeah, so I am actually happy with that one as well. So I am going to keep the Goblin quest, and I'm going to pick up the Monster Hunt and the Spider Silk quest. So let's find out where I can find 3 spiders in 4 and 2. So that would be D2 in hex D2. I'll just make a note of that. That's actually very good. That's close to the exit entrance. And then I am going to roll up the 10 monsters, even though I am not really going to go there to fight 10 monsters at once. At least not until I hit level 2. So 2 and 8, that would be B8. That's pretty far away. So that is no loss, though. All right, then we are going back into New Phlan, and let's see. Hex A1 has no encounter, but then I am stepping into A2, and I rolled a 2, so no encounter. I still have yet to have a single random encounter. I don't know if that's highly unlikely or... Yeah, never mind, moving on. Stepping into the building in hex B3, there is an automatic encounter. Rolling a d6 for a level 1 building encounter. And I rolled a 2. Have we had that before? No. A band of 6 kobolds uses this ruined building as their lair and to hide from the sunlight. They attack. Alrighty then. Well, actually, they are going to have to attack in the next video, because I can see that this is nearing the 1 hour mark, and I feel like that is just way too long. So more of the druid shenanigans in Old Phlan in the next video. See you then, and thanks for watching.